Good morning. This is the Great Basin Prescribed Fire and Smoke Transport Briefing for Wednesday, November 30th. Looking at precipitation, this is actually the past week or so, and you can see through here we've had quite a bit of light to moderate precipitation across the northern half of the Great Basin, and amounts not especially heavy in the greens, maybe a half inch to locally an inch. This does not include the last 24 hours where we did have some significant precipitation across parts of the area. You can see the driest areas continue to be our far southern ones, slightly below normal precipitation in the north, but that'll be changing in the next couple of days. Right now, looking at our 100-hour fuel conditions, see the driest locations are the same areas that have been quite dry the past week or two, and that's here in the south, where 100-hour fuels are in the upper single digits, but they've been moistening up quite a bit further north. And over the last 72 hours, we have had quite a bit of snowfall, the last 24 hours of which were not included in that precipitation roundup. But you can see here in the higher terrain of Utah and northeast Nevada, anywhere from 6 to 12 inches of snow, as well as parts of Wyoming, eastern Idaho, and the mountains of Idaho. So on the right, snow cover quite extensive across northern and even central areas, and even down into the Snake River Plain, parts of the Salt Lake Desert and Salt Lake Valleys, maybe 1 to 3 inches on the ground through there. So definitely winter setting in the higher elevations. Any burning at this point, I think, would be confined more to pile burning of covered piles. Our snowpack looking really good, basically 150 to over 200% of normal for this time of year. One of the best snowpacks we've had in maybe 2 decades up to this point in the season. And the wintry pattern continues. Another deep storm system now dropping down off the British Columbia coast, and this will be bringing more precipitation, rain, and mountain snow as we go over the next 48 hours. So for later today, there's an next storm system already, clouds and precipitation moving into Idaho, as you can see here in the green. Increasing winds in the central and southern areas, and still some low humidity. Fuel still hanging by a thread here in our far southern areas where they've been drying out, otherwise dormant in the green most areas. Our humidity is below 30%, basically south of the I-80 corridor. And down in the teens near Vegas, you see the winds on the left starting to increase ahead of the next storm system. Mixing heights of vertical look really good, as you would normally expect in the presence of a storm system, so no real stagnation issues. There's a storm system here on the left on Thursday, covering much of the area, even down into southern Nevada with clouds and precipitation, at least light stuff, moderate to locally heavy, where you see the darker green across parts of Nevada, up into Idaho, Wyoming, and northern Utah. Look at humidities that are coming up everywhere, so definitely moist conditions, kind of tough to really light anything significant on Thursday. Winds quite strong, as you'd expect with the storm system. Mixing heights quite good. And we do get a break of drier air, seasonally cool on Friday, moving on in. And humidity, though, still quite moist, above 30%. All areas above 50 or 60% for 2/3 of the geographic area. Wind still quite gusty. We see the purples and pinks over 30. Mixing heights in the vertical quite good. So if you can get a pile to burn, you should have good vertical and horizontal mixing. 3-day precipitation totals, just about the entire geographic area covered. The bluish shades indicate a ½ inch to an inch of precipitation. That translates into about 6 to 12 inches of snow, maybe even locally higher amounts in the mountains of Idaho and maybe western Wyoming. And looking at Saturday, another storm system. Some moisture breaks off here into from the Sierra into Nevada and Utah, and that moisture pushes up into Idaho on Sunday. So it's a very moist pattern. We do get some drying, well, still some lingering clouds and precipitation. We see the green through here. Some drying, finally moving in on Tuesday. That's the precipitation Saturday morning through Monday morning, covering a lot of the area. And this is lingering precipitation Monday through Wednesday. So quite a wet week. And we stay on the cool side, the 8 to 14-day outlook, December 7th to the 13th, so the second week of December. And precipitation looks on the wetter side across western portions of Nevada and Idaho, near normal for the rest of the area, and normally in Early to mid-December, we do get at least one storm system a week, so that moist pattern continues. This concludes our briefing. Have a great day.